holy snaps. Okay, let's do another episode then. What? Right. How many here want a new episode of the Thesis block? Oh, if you're here listening, then you're obviously one of those few who actually thinks my videos can teach something. Anyway, there's going to be some changes in the future, but right now it's not going to be like that. It's going to be marvelous. Hello. Okay, this is wrong. It shouldn't be that text. No, 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 no. It's the thesis block. Well, th it was practically the same name, just in Swedish and English. So, it anyway, I've been thinking the whole day today have been about thinking of one thing, and it's time. So I've been thinking of the whole time loop, um, ti the time travel loop that I've been talking about. So, um, how should I put it? When you make a decision, you're on this timeline here, you make a decision, and you go back to this point. See? Well, then you start over from scratch again. So either you're stupid and you kind of time travel back over and over and over again, which is like creating a feather, and then you have, what should I, well, that's the time travel loop going back, but it's not the same timeline, because for every decision that you take, you make a new opportunity that you will later be able to go back to. That's one of the phenomenons with the whole dimensions, uh, since we're practically quantum computers, so we can do a lot of things at the same time. We can be elsewhere and here at the same time. Um, how Anyway, I've been thinking of what is time and what is gravity. So I thought it would be a good idea to teach you what 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 time is. Since I've been manic in some videos. I don't even know if I'm manic right now. It all has to do with the wavelength that I'm on. So even if I'm this calm right now, um, there's this we we create a biomagnetic field or electromagnetic field around us from the heart, and when that is created, um, it tends to, how should I put it? just need to do this so I look more at where the camera is. So we have the electromagnetic field. It's around us. It's well, it's going to be around us. If we have a low heart rate and at the same time, if we lower our frequency, our wavelength in the head to, let's say, the same wavelength as you have in your sleep, then you will be like calm all the time. But the whole thing here is you will perceive it as calm. Others outside of your electromagnetic field will still perceive their own time. So now we have the general theory of relativity, right? So if we let's say that every person has its own time bubble. So everyone has 100 years to live, and some of them who actually breathes with their diaphragm. I'm not gonna even say the word. I can't remember. I'm thinking too fast right now, and I'm trying to. The whole thing is that I'm trying to be in one time set when others is in a whole other one, which is a big problem. But a month for me is like 2 weeks. So if I can slow it down even more, my time will be like 1 year is 2 weeks. Well, I've already had it like that. I had it like that when I was, how old was I? Like 25, I think. The years just went past. It, it felt like the years were like 3 months or something. But I lived in my first apartment and I just sat with my computer and that's all I did. And then I compensated the whole thing by drinking a lot of alcohol. The thing is, when you slow down your wavelength, the higher wavelengths will not disturb your wavelength. So there's a lot of people that say that talk about we need to get to the fourth dimension and fifth dimension and sixth dimension and stuff like that, but they don't understand. They think they are supposed to have higher um, frequencies, but it's the whole total opposite. It's lower frequencies, and the lower frequency you have, the more you see, because yeah. So first off, what is time? Time is um, time is the what's it called now? Speed of light. Uh, should be speed of light divided to your wavelength. Um, don't know if that's right. Should be something like that anyway. Um, anyway, when you create your electromagnetic field, you will disturb the light. Uh, it will can refract. It will not shine as well. Take it like this: the sun is shining very brightly, and it's shining towards Earth, and Earth takes in some of it. Understand? And then we have us making our electromagnetic field around us, filtrating the sunlight even more, which in turn slows down our time or perspective of time. The stronger the field is, the slower time goes within. So it's not like it's slower, it's just you will perceive everyone else outside of your body as moving fast, and you will, and for others, you will be perceived as moving fast or talking fast or being hyperactive. So yeah, um, so light is um, light is time, or light is energy is time, uh, and that's time. But if Earth gets a stronger electromagnetic field, time will be divided with that. And if we also have a strong electromagnetic field, it will divide with that. What gets through will be divided or subtracted from, some of it will be subtracted from our own electromagnetic field. So we live longer. We don't live longer, but um, it seems like we live longer because we can do the same amount of things, but everything around outside is perceived as much, much faster. And that's, have you thought about the Japanese scientist came up with this. If a person runs through a rainstorm or runs through rain and another one walks through rain, they will still be equally as wet. You understand what I mean now? There's no time differential between those. It's just slow heart, high heart rate, slow heart rate, high heart rate. When you have a high heart rate, your bloodstream is going so fast that you actually miss um, some things in the brain. I'm not a medical student, so I just have basic knowledge. I'm not a physicist, I'm not a mathematician, so all I can do is give you a theory so that you can use it for other things. There's probably more people than me that have this, but I also have other things that I want to discuss. I'm going to take that later on in other videos, but this is about time and gravity. What is gravity? Gravity is light. Um, it's Gravity is light, and the the oh what's it called? Ricocheted light. Well, it's not like you can go into a dark room with a dark room with four walls, a roof, and no lights, and you will float in there. No, because you emit light yourself. As long as you're very happy, you emit light. Even when you're extremely sad, you emit light. So, um, some of them call it infrared because warmth. Yeah, it's just one of the we emit more than just infrared light. So there's more to it. There should be a lot more um, there should be a lot more theories and research into light and wavelengths and stuff like that. So how do you break gravity? I've already told people in earlier videos, and that's anti-gravity is anti-light is dark matter, huh? And you get it from the void of light. So how do you create a void of light? You use electricity and put it into a speaker. You find the right frequency and you will have pockets where you don't have light because it will push away the light because sound waves isn't really anything, is it? It's just pushing air. And if it's pushing air faster than light can be, I actually wonder what's in those pockets. It would be very fun to actually know if it's vacuum or whatever it is. So could some scientists actually take a look at that? Because there's some scientists, well, I can levitate with sound. I do this. I find these heavier pockets and I put everything and they're floating on the sound. No, the light is um, everything has a wavelength. Everything has a wavelength that can break that wavelength. Everything. If there's one, there must be the other, right? So, and that's also why it's uh, the moon. It's there by for a reason because if you wouldn't have if the moon were gone, there wouldn't be any light mirrored towards Earth, and if there's no light mirrored towards Earth, then there's no gravity. Have fun flying. Woo! Well, it's kind of like that, but it's also what I've been talking about with the anti-gravity is that light, firstly, you need to uh, get the dense light out of. This is also how you kind of make um, yourself invisible, because if you don't um, if there's no light towards you, then well, you kind of vanish. Uh, the the whole thing with light, with being invisible and stuff like that, is that you try to make the light go another path, right? So it mirrors something else, so it hides the object that you want to have invisible, right? But if you take the light, you have an electromagnetic field around the object that like um, filters the light down. Then you can have a sound instead that you throw out. Well, then you can have a sound instead that um, that blocks the last of the light, just like levitation. So that's anti-gravity. Anti-gravity vehicles are actually levitating, and they're fast because if you change the polarity underneath and above, and you kind of make, you have to have it round or a triangle or something like that, because if you make another shape, uh, a disk is the best one, because then you can actually you can do 180, or like, yeah, 180 turns and the whole thing, just by changing the polarity really, really fast. You can change the polarity anywhere if you have the right idea for it. But you can't just make an electromagnetic field without having the sound. You need the sound that breaks the barrier of uh, of light, that breaks the last light. So it's so the vehicle creates a pocket, and at the same time it kind of vanishes if it's done right, because um, for people to be able to see them, they need to have a low heart rate and a low brainwave length, so they can see more. This is what schizophrenia is. I'm so happy that my father is schizophrenic because if he hadn't been that, I would never have actually understood what it is. So, but I'm gonna talk about that later in another episode. I'm gonna make a new series called Health Issues, or Health Hoaxes, or something. I don't know, because well, we can't blame people. They didn't know. We can't blame people for thinking they know something when they obviously didn't. Um, we if we are to blame anyone, well, blame the ones that knew and did it anyway. Like Facebook, they knew that they would destroy society as it was, but they still did it. Why? Because of greed. That's why one of the deadly sins are greed. Yeah. Anyway, if we and and also I was thinking of the whole um I was thinking of a polarity shift. When a polarity shift happens, uh, it's probably going to be dark for like 3 days. Yeah, we're gonna perceive it as it was like 3 days, but it's like this time. Well, I don't know if it's the sun vanishing or if it's the electromagnetic field that just goes down. And if the electromagnetic field goes down, we will be, I don't know what we're gonna be, washed by plasma? I have no idea. I have no idea. They say that space is a vacuum and we have a radioactive field around Earth that's called Van Allen, or yeah, the Van Allen belt. But there's still some strange thoughts from my perspective, and it could be that the sun is actually changing wavelength, and when it does change wavelength, um, it will vanish. Um, it will vanish, or it will just change color. I don't know. Anyway, when I had my awakening, or um, chain lifting, or whatever, I call it chain lifting. Professional people call it psychosis. Yes, but I can do that. I'm gonna go into that also in the health issue things. I'm gonna go through a lot of things there, but this was about time and time distortion. There's Yeah, I've been talking a bit about time travelers. One of them told everyone that in 2028 we're all gonna have uh, disclosure, and next one says 2060 or 2058, which means there's something that's been changed again, or it hasn't been changed. But I still believe in the time travel loop. There's a lot of um, you have the time travel loop, and then for every decision where um, that you didn't do will still be made. So you go to this, you walk on this road, and at the end of the road, it divides into two roads, and you're like, oh well, let's take to the right. So it was just a random action, a random decision. So you take to the right. But at the same time, the left is created. And if there's like later on, oh, I want to go to the left, and it's into the same road as this should have been, and you take, oh, I want to go to the right, then you're on the same path again. You understand? But then there's three possible ways to go, right? Because you could have gone right or left, or right or left there. And if you go on left and right, you will be in the middle, right? So And for every time travel loop, it's like this. The first is they didn't travel back in time. The second is they did travel back in time and they didn't do it again, or they did it again, but there's still gonna be the dimension where they didn't do it again for every loop there is. So if people, the whole thing, the whole how to be able to, how should I put it? To be able to go through the whole 3 days of darkness process is to have a strong electromagnetic field emitting from yourself, which is hard enough. I have my electromagnetic field. I can feel it. It's it's on now, but I'm I'm living in the same, um how should I put it? Because it's not the same time, because it's my bubble have its time. Earth's bubble is one time. Next bubble, maybe you, is another time. When I converse with someone, if I start a discussion with someone and I'm the one that is talking, then the other one that I talk to will be mirroring me. So if I'm interested in what I'm saying, that person is also going to be interested in what I am saying. Um, kind of. And when that person talks to me instead, it's gonna be what that feels, how strong how passionate they are. Because if you're passionate, the heart will get stronger. The pulse will not be, well, you can have a low pulse, well, you can have a low, strong pulse. It's low and passionate low. Then you have high and passionate high. I don't know how to explain it properly, but feelings are different frequencies of electricity in the body, but they're good for you. Love is needed. And when you're feeling love, which is happiness, you you get this immense um, warmth around the heart. And when you're the lonely people, they feel a cold heart. The happy people, they feel a warm heart. And the more happy they are, the warmer they are getting. So what am I talking about? Yeah, I am talking about levitation. Yeah, because I was thinking of the bumblebee. Why is the bumblebee levitating? Yeah, because it's flapping the wings so it gets warm inside, and when it gets warm, it starts to levitate like a balloon, right? No, it's not, because the wings have like um, within the wings there's like the wings have a hollow skeleton, kind of. So when it flaps, it makes a sound. Maybe we can't hear it, but it's that sound. Well, everything makes the same sound. Like birds make the same sound, and insects makes the same sound that is equal to their time distortion. I noticed this with uh, when I had my awakening or quickening or whatever. Um, when I had that, I turned to my left because I heard a bird in the middle of the night, and I was like, why are there birds awake in the middle of the night? They should be sleeping. The only birds that should be up in the night is owls. But it wasn't ooh 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 ooh. It was other birds that should have been asleep at night time. So I put my head towards that bird, and I actually I I thought I was going crazy when I saw this. Um, it flapped its wings and it made a sound at the same time, and I saw this wave of sound going out and stopping around where at the wingspan where the wingspan ended, and it was there for a while, and then when it was about to vanish, they they made the same sound again. This is how they it was like, what? Okay, what's happening? Are they flying because sound? That was the first time that I actually started to wondering, do they emit the sound to be able to fly, and do they use the wings just to steer? Because it felt like they they made the sound that pushed away the light, kind of, and that's what the ring was. The ring was the light being pushed away. So, isn't that strange? Well, it's also that I don't like when people talk if they're not happy. If they're not happy, they shouldn't be talking because they're kind of dragging everyone down. And the sound they make, I don't like it. It's nagging. It's kind of it's like taking an ice pick and over and over and over again in the ear every time someone is nagging about anything. Today it was snowing. I wasn't that happy in the morning, but well, I thought it was beautiful with the snow. At the same time, there is a lot of things that I've been thinking of since yesterday, but I'm not gonna talk about it. Anyway, this I I I hope this gets your mind to flourish a bit and get you to think about the possibility that light is gravity and anti-gravity the is the what's it called now? Um, lack of light. And since it's a lack of light, people won't be able to see it either because there's still light around. So it's not like, yeah, I'm playing this sound and oh, it's black there. It's not like that. It's just kind of emptiness. It's not empty. I don't know how to, but I'm still very, very interested in what's in between the pockets of light. There, you have something to wonder about. But since what I need to Synesthesia. It's called synesthesia. The ability to see light getting pushed by sound. Okay, good. Happily, happily, happily ever after, right? See you, great ones. Goodbye.